So we've got a 2019 KTM 790 Adventure. We're going to be replacing the stock skid plate with the Enduro engineering skid plate. What it comes with, excuse me dog. What it comes with, these sets of screws. I bought the Loctite. This is the only set of instructions. The backside's blank. And here's the skid plate. Hi. Hi, Samo. To begin with, remove screws. There's plenty of videos online that show you how to remove this guy, so I'm not going to be putting too much emphasis on this. I'll be putting the emphasis on the skid plate. The protection for these is bolt, bolt, and one more bolt down here. Make sure you tighten the nut on the top so you can unscrew this and they don't spin. The rest of the skid plate's only 6 screws. The 2 in the front on either side. There, 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 there. And then the 2 in the back, which connect right to these sections on the bottom of the engine. The main reason I'm replacing this, you can already see that we've got a bend right in here. From a light bash, it already started to bend. So that's why we're going with the Enduro engineering. Next is a removal of this bracer, which we then put in the middle here. What this is, 3 Torx. Falls right off. That was already pre-loosened, obviously. And then we will reattach to that. This is where we start using new bolts. Alright, so after I took off the rectangular section here for the reinforcement, you put it onto here with these 3 panhead bolts from the kit. That's it. Next, we're replacing the spacer underneath the foot peg here with this so that we can then mount to the bottom with the new skid plate. This is what the spacer looks like on. Don't be afraid. I had to tap it a little bit with a hammer to get in. Make sure you work this guy out. And what I ended up doing was taking a little bit of WD-40, put it on a paper towel, wiping the inside, wiping the outside to help work it up into the top a little bit more easy. What I'm doing next is pulling out the rubber spacers, which were the previous mounting point here. I'm going to Loctite them and snug them back up just to hold it a little bit more steady. The new mounting points are going to be in the back here, 2 more bolts here, and then it wraps back up to the original mounting points up front. Okay, so what I did was lay the bike on its side just for getting ease of access. Put in the 2 bolts down here, 2 bolts down here. The tolerances weren't great, so these were a pain in the ass to get in. 2 smallest bolts down here into the bottom of the engine case. And now I'm moving forward after the L bracket here. What the L bracket does here is so that when you drain the oil filter and the 2 screens, they can drain through these holes. So you shouldn't have to remove this to change the oil. It's a little bit confusing on which way the L bracket bends, whether or not it goes forward or up. So that might change once I get a little bit further along. Next is the 4 front screws to mount the skid plate to the frame, and then I'll go through and put on the rest of the frame, rest of the bolts that hold the plastic fuel tank protectors on. Okay, so I stood the bike back up, and next put in these 4 bolts, the other 2 on the other side, and we're tightening up, and then we're moving down the bottom and tightening up the remainder on the bottom. This is the finished product. Enduro Engineering 790 Adventure skid plate. Comes down. It's underneath. Back. There's the distance to the rear. Or you can do your oil changes without taking off the skid plate. You will have to take off the side plastic cover. mounting points. And there you go. Thanks for watching.